everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got an epic show ahead, but just remember, if any of you have experiences you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. You can either email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com or head over to paranormalportal.net and scroll down and find the button that says Interview Me, and that'll allow you to look at a calendar of possible times and dates and find a date that works for you. Love to hear your stories, so definitely get in touch with me. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal podcast. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for being here and spending some of your time with me. Thank you for all your love and support to all of you out there. And for those of you that continue to let other people know about the shows, my warmest thanks. And we got a great show lined up for you guys today. I'm joined by Bill Simone, who is here to share his experiences. He's the author of a book, My Paranormal Visit, a 14-year journey. And it's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other platforms, and it's published by Drafted Digital. And we are here to talk to Bill about his 14-year journey. And I hope you guys will join me in welcoming Bill. Hey, Bill, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here, Brent. Thank you.
It's always my pleasure. I always love talking to people who've had experiences because it's a unique window into what they've seen, what they've experienced. And I do have to commend every person that comes on the show because it is an act of bravery to kind of come on and just say, well, here's what I've been through. And I really appreciate it. But of course, your book is out there now. It's, again, My Paranormal Visit, a 14-year journey. And that's quite a ambitious undertaking, Bill.
Yes, it was. It started, like the title says, 14 years ago.
Uh-huh.
My daughter and granddaughter were living with us. We had a condo, and it started there. My daughter would see certain things, not shadow people, which is described by a lot of people, but she would see mists, and they would hover and eventually just rise slowly, wouldn't change into a human form or a figure, just dissipate. Go up and dissipate.
Wow.
I, at that time, was getting a heat sensation on my arms.
Oh.
As if you were walking past a stove or a coffee maker and you would feel that kind of heat, not burning, but you would say, what did I leave on? And nothing is on. A lot of people say they have felt cold. I have only once felt cold, but I always had the heat sensation. Now, at that time, my granddaughter was talking to imaginary friends. So-called children are told they're imaginary friends, but Karen and I, my wife, weren't aware of it at that time. My daughter was, but never mentioned it to us.
Wow.
So when we sold the condo and moved in with my daughter, things started to change. My daughter was seeing shadow people. I was starting to see shadow people, and my granddaughter started crying to us that she was talking to spirits and ghosts, and people would laugh at her. Now, I understand because I've mentioned it to people and they have laughed at me. you're weird, you're crazy, you better see a doctor and all that. And it's hard to talk to people when they're
Sure.
negative towards you immediately that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember my granddaughter walking down the hall from one bedroom to the other bedroom where I was. She was 5 years old, Brent, at that time, coming down the hall with her blanket over her shoulder and sobbing. And I said, "Yeah, Isabella, what's wrong?" She said, "Grandpa, can we talk?" I said, "Sure, what do you want to talk about?" "Ghosts and spirits. Nobody understands me like you do."
Oh, wow.
Now, at school, she would mention to a friend about these imaginary, because she was told by everybody they're not real, they're imaginary,
Right.
these imaginary friends. Well, the friend, being 5 years old, went to his parents and was demanding, why can't he have the same friends? Well,
Oh,
he was so demanding with his parents, getting upset with it, that the father came over to talk to me and said, "What are you going to do about it? Isabella's with these imaginary friends. It has to stop.
oh,
What are you going to
geez.
do?" Yeah. I
Oh
said,
my
"I'm
God.
not going to do anything." She's actually talking to him. Brent, you know what they did? She never was allowed to play with him again.
Oh,
They went to the school and made her not play with the child in the schoolyard. I mean, that's how, yeah, bad it was.
oh,
So Karen and I, my wife, we started talking to her, saying there's nothing wrong in talking to them.
good for you.
She would say, "Well, I don't know what to say." And I asked her, "Can you see them?" And she said, "Not all the time. I hear them. And they ask me my name and play, and I don't know what to do."
Oh,
Now,
wow.
remember, she's 5 years old. She's getting desperate. People are laughing at her. They're telling her they're imaginary. We told her, talk to them.
Yeah.
Ask them their name. What
Hmm.
kind of games do they want to play? And she kept on saying she's trying and trying, but apparently it wasn't working. So we said, try not talking, but using your mind
Hmm.
telepathically. Well, she was smart enough to understand to do it that way. And we asked her one day, "Is it working?" She said, "Yes." And I'm
Oh,
very happy.
oh,
Now, isn't that something at that age? Mm-hmm.
that's a lot for a kid to try to deal with, especially, it breaks my heart that, she was just being honest and trying
Right,
to share her experience and her excitement and maybe a concern with like her peers. And then, of course, that I think that parents really handled that poorly, 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 though, because and I understand people become uncomfortable with this kind of idea. It's like, well, you're talking to things you can't see. There's obviously something wrong with the child, but no, it's just it's
right,
it's it's a story that's as old as our cultures, of some people being able to communicate with unseen things, and some people not, most of us not, unfortunately. But it doesn't negate the experience that was very real for her and is very real for her and for you guys, and for other people to make those kind of harsh judgment calls, I think it's really a tragedy. So
yes,
I'm just really impressed that you both were there for her and able to help her through that confusion, because she's obviously very distressed. And you guys were the safe space for her,
mm,
the safe place that she could have those conversations without, with love. And so
right,
my hat's off to you for that, because, and I think that parents, I mean, all parents are just doing the best they can, and they're all working in their box of understanding. And so when something comes from way outside of that, that's uncomfortable for a lot of people, but it just isn't fair to target a child because they have a different experience.
Right. Now, if anything else happened at school with other kids or with the teacher, I really don't know. I never heard anything except for the one boy that she wanted to play with, you know.
Yeah.
And at this time, things weren't really that active with me. The
Okay.
heat of on and off, a shadow person just going real quick,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I didn't see any mists or orbs at that time. Things really start to get intense. Well, my daughter got involved with somebody, sold her condo, and Karen and I moved. Of course, we went somewhere else. And then things picked up. I mean, they really picked up.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
there was one evening, I think Karen was talking to me, and we were talking, and there was a partition between the living room and the kitchen. Um, as Karen's talking to me, she sees something drop from underneath the cabinet into the sink. It catches your eye, and you turn around and look. Well, when it hit, I heard it, she heard it, but I never saw it because of the partition. So I get up, I'm in the chair, I get up, we both walk into the kitchen to see what fell in the sink.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't find anything. No water, not a drip, a spot, nothing. But definitely something hit the sink. And Karen said definitely she saw with her eye as she turned around it coming down. What it was, we don't have any idea.
So
Now,
something was observed and actually made a sound like it landed. Is that right?
right,
Okay.
right. But nothing was seen in the sink that
Wow.
could have made that sound. It was empty. So there was a time 3:25 in the morning. I'm asleep and I hear a big bang.
Oh,
I'm thinking, what the hell was that? It woke me up.
right.
I turn the light on, look around, and realize a big 5x5 picture had fallen, which was hanging on the wall for 3 years. Never
Oh,
fell. Now, the hook on holding the picture was slightly bent. Was it the weight? Very possible. Very possible. 2 hours later, 5:25, I'm waking Karen up because we were going to go out for breakfast. We're early birds around here.
fair enough.
I'm waking her up and I hear a big thump. I'm thinking, what the hell is that? As I walk into the living room, I'm looking around. I had my dad's flag case that when you're
Yeah.
a veteran, the burial, the flag was in a big wooden case, glass.
Mm.
It had fallen. The hook is still in the wall. Now, when it fell, it didn't fall straight. It fell 2 feet away from the wall, over the lamp, over my cell phone, over the Kleenex box, and upright on the end table.
Oh, wow.
Now, for that to happen with that kind of weight, you would expect it straight down. But this was 2 feet over. Now, the Kleenex box was on the floor, but it wasn't compressed, dented, crushed in any way. So
Yeah.
it either had to nip it or somebody pushed it when they set it down.
Wow.
But that is something. Exactly 2 hours later at 5:25,
Jeez.
Now, that is weird.
Right.
And they were hanging there, like I said, both for 3 years.
Hmm.
And the hook didn't, out of the flag case, did not come out of the wall at all. And
Wow.
and it was hanging with the chain. It had to be lifted up and set 2 feet away. There's just no way it would have gone that way with the weight.
Yeah.
That's
That's
one.
incredible.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And you come out and you see that and you look at it and you say, how? How could it happen?
So it wasn't just like laying on the table either. It was set up on the
No,
table.
set upright.
So it's one of those
Yeah,
the triangle
try.
boxes. Yeah,
Correct.
I
Uh-huh.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, what are the odds? That's like
This,
some crazy
yeah,
odds.
this far away from the wall, the end table.
Jeez.
And it came over the lamp,
Uh-huh.
and landed right on the end of the end table, upright.
Now,
Right.
did you hear? You didn't hear that happen. You just
Yeah, I
discovered it.
heard it happen.
You
I
did.
was in the bedroom waking Karen up.
Did it sound like it was a loud thump,
Yeah,
or okay?
just like the picture, it's the same kind of bang the picture sounded like
Wow.
when it fell.
Huh. That is really incredible. That's some fascinating
Yeah,
activity because it's very physical activity, and
right.
that's no small thing. Like a lot of hauntings are just presence related or maybe auditory from time to time or cold spots, a lot of more
Hmm.
benign things. But when things are actually being moved,
Yeah,
that's some profound activity.
right.
Wow.
Now, this is the same location. Now, this is the third location we've been at. We're by ourselves. We're not living with my daughter or granddaughter. We're by ourselves in the apartment.
Hmm.
I'm just having night light on, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm looking on my cell phone playing games. And I see a shadow coming out of the bedroom toward the bathroom just around the corner.
Hmm.
And I'm glancing and I'm thinking, it's Karen. She's up, gonna go to the bathroom.
Hmm.
And I'm still doing the games. And then I realize Karen's just standing there. Now I'm seeing a shadow person, I'm seeing a figure.
Hmm.
That's why I'm thinking it's her. I
Sure.
actually see a clear figure, not a face, just a brown entity. That's why I'm glancing just with the night light on. I'm thinking it's her.
Hmm.
She turns around and goes like in a circle. I'm thinking, well, is she confused about something? Then the figure starts to move out, and I think she's coming in the living room to talk to me, but it doesn't. It comes out, makes a right-hand turn, and goes straight to the pictures that are on the wall, and looking at the two grandchildren in one picture hanging on the wall. And I'm
Oh.
thinking, and I say out loud, Karen, I don't know if I can say this on air. Karen, for Christ's sake, if you're going to look at the pictures, let me turn the light on. I turned the light on, Brent. Nothing.
Gone.
I didn't see anything fade,
Mm.
nothing. So I turned the light off, on, and I realized it's not Karen. I saw a shadow person. It was so real.
Wow. Now,
That,
let me ask you, Bill, when you turn the light back off, was it still present or
no,
it was just
no,
gone? Okay.
nope. Yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah,
That's really intense.
yeah. That's That's how real it was. I know just the nightlight, you don't have that kind of visibility,
Yeah.
but I was in a contest with the games, and when I realized she was coming around, I figured she's going to talk to me, but she went right to the pictures and looking up, and that's when I made the comment. And as soon as I turned it off, it was gone.
Wow. Did you get any sense of gender as you're looking at this, or is it more ambiguous?
It had a woman's uh, hairstyle
Okay.
down to the shoulders,
Okay.
curved a little,
Oh,
uh, but no ponytail or anything like that, that distinctive. The outline just reminded me of a woman
okay. Okay.
and tannish in color.
So, can I ask you, did you, throughout the course of these events so far, did you ever feel like, oh, this is not good, like this is a bad thing, or did you feel like, oh, this is kind of weird? Or, I mean, did you have like a, because I'm always interested in people's reactions viscerally to these things. Like, how did you feel? Did you feel like, oh, this is scary, or were you more like, wow, this is really fascinating?
Curiosity.
Okay, good.
Curi- yeah.
So,
Never scared.
okay,
Um, let's put it this way, I am positive this shadow woman, shadow per figure, was not interacting with me.
okay,
I got the impression if it knew I was there, I was completely ignored.
right,
Completely.
okay,
It it knew where it was going,
hmm,
right to the picture, because it went there and you can see the figure looking up. I
wow.
didn't see the face,
Mhm.
just the back of her looking up.
How tall would you guesstimate that this figure was based on your?
Uh, for me to think it was Karen. Karen is 5'4",
Okay,
5'5", something like that, and 5'6" at the most. It wasn't a very tall figure.
but it seemed to have like a brownish hue, the whole
Yeah,
thing. Okay,
yeah.
so it
Mhm.
wasn't really a black shadowy figure. It was
No,
just a.
no, no, no. It was
Oh,
light in color.
that is fascinating.
Yeah,
And
and I had my glasses on, as you
right
can see. Yeah,
now, do you think that this figure was then probably the entity or being that was responsible for the picture coming down and then the flag coming off the wall? Did you have that suspicion or that
no.
intuition?
Tell you the truth, I never
Okay.
correlated both of them together that way. Never thought about it until you
Yeah.
mention it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the reason I ask is because, of course, there's two basic kind of hauntings. One is residual, which is just, a figure repeating emotion. It may not even be sentient or intelligent. It's just some imprint of another time that replays for whatever reason. And then there's the intelligent haunts where they interact with the environment and with the people present. And,
uh-huh.
certainly what you saw could have been something residual, or if you think maybe perhaps it was tied to the pictures coming down and the flag coming off, then it was obviously intelligently interacting, just
Yeah,
more dismissive of your presence. Like, oh yeah, there's Bill on the phone again. Jeez,
yeah.
you
Now
know.
if she had just come out and not looked at the pictures,
Hmm.
I would say residual, just
Yes.
coming through again.
Yeah. Sure.
Going to the store.
Right. Yeah.
But no, she wanted to look at the pictures.
Oh, okay. Which is
Yeah,
kind of sweet, kind of endearing. The weird part is the doing the circles in the room prior to that. It's like, what was going on? I try
yeah,
to, you try to think what is going on for them in that moment, and then it's like some clarity came. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go look at the pictures because I like looking at those kids or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
I just try to
Now I don't
understand.
know if she noticed me and that caused the circulation going
Oh,
around.
right, sure.
I I really don't know.
Right. Right. And it's, anybody's guess. And this was in an apartment, right? So
This is an apartment. Yeah,
any number of people could have lived there with different circumstances
correct,
prior.
correct,
Somebody may have passed away there, and that was what was.
correct.
And
That is correct.
the wandering in the circles thing almost makes me. I'm sorry to interject my opinions on this because I wasn't there, but I just think, well, is that like someone that may have suffered from Alzheimer's or dementia, and they're just kind of in a confused state, like, what am I doing? What's going on? And then some clarity came, and then she came out and checked out the picture,
Right.
like that was a grounding thing. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm just speculating wildly here, but your story is
Right.
incredibly fascinating. That's
But
incredible.
and you mentioned that it doesn't mean she wanted to see my picture.
Right.
Pictures could have been hung there from other people,
Well, sure.
occupants,
Yeah. Yep.
you know. So that's very possible. Now, you're talking about, excuse me, death in the apartment, passing away.
hmm
When this first started in our first condo, we built the condo.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can swear there weren't any deaths there.
Right. Yeah. Of course,
You
these
know,
things can be attached to the land as well.
right.
So
Oh,
there any number of historical precedences for them, but still, now I do want to make sure to address this. Before we were recording, you said that your mom used to see things as well.
yes.
Can you explain what you explained to me prior to recording?
Okay. There was a time I was coming home from work and I had to travel the freeway about a 45-minute drive. I was still living at home.
hmm
Leaving work, going home, she was making dinner, and my dad and my brother were at the table. She turned to them and said, Bill just had an accident. He hit the guardrail.
Oh wow.
When I came home, first thing she said, Are you okay? I said, Yeah, how'd you know I had an accident?
Wow.
And my dad said, Your mom saw you hit the guardrail. I said, That's what I hit. I was pushed into the guardrail.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And she would also have conversations, you said, right?
She would have conversations on a regular basis, correct. And she would do it in Italian. And she'd always be looking up, and I'd ask her, Mom, who are you talking to? And she would say angels, or she would say Ada, which is Ida, and which was her mom's name.
Oh,
So I was 11 or 12. I wasn't into this. We didn't deny it or didn't laugh at her. Never asked her what the conversation was about, just kept on walking
yeah.
past and out the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And so obviously this and perhaps that's part of the reason why you've had these experiences is that
Yes.
you inherited some of that sensitivity to some degree, and perhaps your granddaughter as well, and that's why she was able to interact so clearly with them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I asked my granddaughter recently, she's 19, do you still encounter them? Do you still talk to them? She said yes, but it's very seldom.
Oh, okay.
So, even with me, there's been months in between something happening. What triggers it, Brent? I really don't know. Is
Yeah.
it something I ate? I I don't have any idea why,
hmm
um, what makes it happen,
Right.
why there's a lull. Now, going to this year, the last event was in April of this year.
hmm
The light is on, it's daylight, and I'm reading. It gets dim in the room, not dark, but there's a change that catches your attention in
hmm
the lighting. It's not quite as bright. So I turn to the lamp, thinking the bulb is going dim, brighter, dim.
Right.
it's not. I'm looking at the lamp because I'm seeing the room isn't as bright as it was. I'm thinking, did a cloud go over the sun? No, it's still shining. Then I realized there's a mist moving over the lamp. It's about 3 by 3, and it actually looks like a cumulus cloud the way it's moving.
Wow.
Slow, not fast, but you can see movement. It lifts up. As it lifts up, the room's getting brighter again because it's going above the shade, the lamp shade, continues up and right through the ceiling.
Wow.
And that was the last event of this year. And it's in the book that was the last one, major one. I've been awakened continuously. I'm sleeping and they'll touch me to wake me up. And that's when I would see the orbs, the flashing lights, different figures. If they wouldn't wake me up, 75% of what I've seen, these 168 events, I would not know it happened, that they're there.
Right.
They want me to see them. Why? I don't know. I tried to talk to them. I have talked to them. They have moved. I've said, you have to come to the center of the room so I can see you. These are lights, blue, red, flashing, almost like a voice monitor. You see the lines.
Yeah.
That's how it's pulsating.
Yeah.
Same thing, but sometimes they're in color, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're surrounding a stationary, solid line. Different figures, different lookings. Matter of fact, I have some things. Can you see this, Brent?
Yeah. Could you hold it up just a little higher? There you go. Yep. Several different figures. Yep.
Yeah. A solid line and the pulsating line around it. Amazing.
Yeah.
And here's some more images
of things that
now this is my own perception.
Right.
And I was going to put them in the book, but people were telling me the way I draw, it wouldn't work.
Oh, okay.
Look crappy. And if I had somebody do it, Brent, then I was told it would be their perception and not mine.
Right.
So I figured, let's stop altogether. Here's another one.
That's interesting. So they almost have a geometry to them, huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I would see a square and there would be movement inside the square. You could actually see the outline, like you said. But that wasn't all the time. If I would just see these lines curved sometimes or straight and flashing, there could have been a perimeter farther out that I didn't see.
Right.
Because the room isn't lit up. It's usually just a 3-watt nightlight.
Yeah.
So it's not that bright to see all that. Now, the mist, when I see the mist, so like I said, sometimes it's broad daylight.
Right.
And right through the ceiling or through the wall, all the way across from one end to the other. Now, my wife was laying in bed watching TV, and she on her side, and she's watching TV. She sees a shadow person come out of the wall walked right across the room, and she said it had a hat, like a three-pronged pirate hat would have, went right across the room and right through the other wall. And she came, I was in the other bedroom. We have our computer in there. She said, "Did you see it come through?" I said, "What?" The shadow person. I said, "Didn't come through here. At least I didn't see it."
Right.
But she said, "I saw it." And she said it was a full figure that you could see with a hat, a man with a hat.
Wow.
And again, she said it ignored her, like she wasn't even there, didn't interact. Never have we or my granddaughter felt we were in danger or we were going to be hurt in any way. As far as I know, she's never talked about that. I can honestly say never with me. Curiosity.
Yeah.
I want to know, are you from another dimension? Are you a soul? Are you a spirit?
Right.
I mean, why couldn't it be a soul?
Sure.
An angel? I've had people tell me it can't be a soul. It can't be a spirit. And I said, why?
Yeah.
No,
Why?
they don't exist. I said, have you ever seen an angel?
Yeah.
Do you believe in angels? Yes. Do you ever see one? No. Right? Same thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
The curiosity, though, just fascinates me. I want another dimension. Are they going from one dimension real quick to another dimension?
Yeah.
Like they say Bigfoot does, could be going from one to the other. I don't have any idea.
Yeah. But it's interesting that you're witnessing. It's not just by at least by all suggestion. It doesn't sound like it's one thing. It's like you're witnessing a whole lot of things.
Correct.
Now, does your wife have a history of observing this stuff prior to you guys being in
No.
this situation, or this is all new to her too?
This is all new to her too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And how has she handled that? I'm just curious because,
She's curious about it too.
okay, but she's, like you mentioned, she's
Not scared. No.
right. Good.
No. Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
that's powerful. I know that there's some people that are going to hear this and go, well, they're talking to evil things and there's evil things moving through there. And wow, I'm worried for them. And I can appreciate that that's some people's experiences, but I really firmly believe that we are swimming in a world of spirit. Like we don't necessarily have the tools or the perception ability to see everything that's around us, whether it's vibrationally or light or, different frequencies of light that we just can't see. But that doesn't negate the fact that there could be many things around us that we just don't have the tools to perceive.
Correct.
And by virtue of you being, who you are and maybe where you are, I don't know, that you guys have become more and more sensitized through this. And it could be by virtue of you just being your mother's child, that she was, gifted obviously and was able to communicate. And so that's fascinating though. But I think you're just possibly, just tuning into a whole different level of reality and getting these windows of experience. And
Right.
so
Now, when I have seen the orbs, I have seen 2, 3 going around each other like bugs on a street light, circling.
sure.
And I've said, can I help you? Can you come here? Once they did it, one came closer. And as it was coming closer, I said a few words like, oh my God, what the hell is going to happen?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, amazed, not scared,
Right.
but surprised that they're responding
Right.
to me. So as it comes closer, it stops by the doorway. Now they're about the size of a baseball
Okay.
when I first see them up by the ceiling. As it comes closer, it gets to the doorway. It swells to the size of a basketball.
Wow.
The
Okay.
center is either dark or black. I couldn't tell, but it looked like it was dark, not a hole where I could see through it.
Right, right.
The outer side became a yellowish orange with
Mm.
slight movement, like a cloud or a mist would. The outside had that zigzag like communication on a oscilloscope, but
Sure.
something showing that. And it was amazed. I was amazed. And I said, "Can I help you? What are you trying to tell me?"
Right.
And it would just shrink and it went back to the other two, and then they went all through the ceiling. This
Wow.
became almost every other night continuous. Green, yellowish orange.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw a blue or a red. I know people said they've seen those colors. I've seen those colors in flashing the lights I saw, but never in an orb. The
Mm.
white, green, you know, the yellowish orange, those colors, it became so continuous
Yeah.
every night that one night I remember, again, I was touched to see them.
Mm.
Why, I don't know. And you know what I said?
Hmm.
"Guys, good seeing you again. I'm tired." And I fell back to sleep. Whatever happened that night, I don't. That's how continuous it was on a regular basis. And then, boom, it would stop.
Mm.
6 months later, starts up again.
Yeah.
I remember I woke up one morning and I saw a line flashing. I'm thinking I rubbed my eyes and that caused it. The next morning, again, I'm wakened up and I see two lines, vertical lines. And I'm thinking, why am I rubbing my eyes to wake up? Next night, Brent, three, all vertical, same way. And I told Karen, I think I'm starting to see things again.
Yeah.
Not mentally, visually, spiritually,
Right. Yeah.
And one night when I did wake up, the lines were in a square,
Mm-hmm.
a rectangle. And I said to them, "You have to come closer if you're trying to tell me something."
Yeah.
It starts to move closer and it's getting closer. And I start to see each section has something in it. I say again, "You have to get closer." Now it's only 3 feet from me.
Wow.
And I see what's coming clear in each section. They were gravestones.
Oh.
And I remember saying out loud, "Oh my God, they're gravestones." And when I said that, they started to go back and just dissipated.
Huh.
Now, the gravestones were the old round type. They were straight, they weren't leaning or anything,
Right.
but you could tell they were old. They had a dark, dirty color, concrete color to them. Now, each one had writing. I couldn't make it out. I have no idea what it was, but there definitely was engraving on each one.
How?
Now, I never saw that again.
Uh-huh.
I saw a little girl once. I was asleep in the recliner.
Uh-huh.
My feet were gray. Well, you're startled when you're sleeping. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wake up and I see a little girl's face. And I only could see her with the recliner up. I couldn't see down, but I only saw from the shoulders up.
Mm.
A white, and she was kind of moving, but it definitely was a little girl, maybe 4 years old, very young.
Hmm.
And it startled me as soon as I said, "Whoa," because I wasn't expecting to see it. She faded away. The next night, the same thing.
Aw.
And
Okay.
yeah, exactly the same. And I reach and say, "Don't go, don't go." So I told Karen, I'm going to be ready for her this time. I'm not going to be startled or surprised.
Right.
I am going to ask her who she is. Never happened again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never happened again.
I've got to ask, are you in proximity, a close proximity to a cemetery?
No,
Okay, so there's nothing around you that
no,
they might be
right?
migrating from. Okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting. But again, as we were talking before, it's like, things can be attached to the land. Perhaps there was
right.
one there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's hard to say.
but why are they waking me up? They're waking me up to see them. They
Right.
want to be seen.
Yeah.
And if they're trying to communicate, I'm trying to. Now, I've never done it telepathically.
Okay.
I never gave that a thought until after I did the book. I'm thinking, you know what? Why didn't I try talking what mind to mind?
Uh,
It, these things don't last for half an hour, 45
right.
minutes. I mean, within a minute, sometimes they were longer, but usually 30 seconds,
Yeah.
45 seconds, and
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's the trick with the paranormal. And you mentioned that there's periods of nothing. And I've lived
right?
in several houses that have activity. And even this location I'm in now, I mean, there'll be times when things are happening and popping off, and then just these long lulls. And it's not on a schedule that I can figure. It just happens when it happens, why it happens.
Yeah,
and
right,
and there's
right.
I can't see any pattern in it personally, but sometimes they just come through, and it's a really that's also the trick, I think, for paranormal investigating. I do some of that as well, but there's no place that is active all the time. That doesn't exist.
Mhm.
There might be places where activity is more common, but you could be a month or two in between and nothing
Yeah.
will happen. So it's a conundrum of sorts. And why are they doing this to you? I don't know, but it's absolutely fascinating.
Oh, it's it's just so interesting because I have thoughts that interdimension, uh,
Hmm.
spirits, souls,
Yeah.
whatever. It's definitely beyond what we know and understand.
Right.
That I really feel is, but what it is, I wish I knew. Wish I
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
You don't have any idea how anxious I am to communicate, to
Yeah.
find out.
Yep.
You know,
I agree. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm so envious of people like your mother who could have
yeah,
conversations and share ideas and just make that connection like that. I understand, again, sometimes you don't know what you're dealing with and you might be encouraging something that's not good, but
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. It's got to be a consideration anyway, but I think it's just an amazing opportunity to maybe learn something, because
hmm
I, because I've experienced so many things, I have so many questions. And the idea of being able just to sit down and go, okay, so what's going on here? What is this all about? Can you explain what your experience is like? I just can't imagine what that discussion could be.
yeah,
But
right.
unfortunately, maybe we're not meant to understand it at this point. But hopefully someday. But I think the big thing is to remember that we're not alone here. And I don't mean that, necessarily just aliens. I mean, we are surrounded by realities that we just don't understand yet.
Correct.
And that's where I think the magic of all of this is that these things stand to teach us something about what is reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Look how scientists are finding more dimensions,
Yeah.
more planets, galaxies. Everything we were taught for years ago, I'm 77,
Uh-huh.
is not true anymore. History is being rewritten scientifically.
Yeah.
They're discovering things that never existed, one thing after another.
Right.
So you can't say it's impossible.
Right.
If
Right.
you're thinking it, it can be possible. How
Absolutely.
crazy it is, it's possible.
Absolutely.
I agree, hard to believe, but possible.
Well, I think it's amazing. I think I'm most impressed with the fact that not only do you have all these experiences, but you're looking at it from from not from a place of fear. And I think that is so powerful because these things are being demonstrated to you, and you're not looking at it like, oh no, the demons are back or something. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you're being visited by some kind of intelligence, and you're trying to understand it. And my hat's off to you for that, because I think there's evil out there, and I don't mean to suggest otherwise. I think that, you know, by and large, most of this stuff is very benign, and we can't begin to understand what's going on for them or why they choose to do it. But, you know, you've got the wonderful outlook that you have, and I'm just thrilled to hear that, because, you know, these are your experiences. This is your reality. And I really am thrilled that you came on the show to talk about it. You had a couple of photos as well that you
Oh, yes.
held up.
There was a time, one night, I don't know the year offhand, I have it written down, but I was in the bedroom, and no light on, no night light, and I'm constantly being tapped on my shoulder. I mean, somebody wanted me to know that they were there. I never saw anything. I took 17 pictures with my cell phone.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I am moving quick around the room now. The drapes are closed. We aren't anywhere where a car light could get in the room. It's just we, no way. No street is there. No driveway is there. It's all grass for such a big area. So I'm in the room, dark, just snapping the cell phone pictures. Well, out of 17, as Karen and I are looking at them, she said, this one picture, there's something in the upper left-hand corner. So what we take on the cell phone shows up on our computer.
Okay.
Karen went on there and cropped it and said, look what you captured. And this is what it is. Now, was it an orb or of something else that I took? I never saw it visually,
Okay.
but it came up with the flash
Yeah.
of the camera. But I never saw it visually.
And for those of you that can't see a picture, if you're listening to the audio version, it's basically looks like these angular S shapes of like a light, but like dotted line kind of light. So
Now, was it moving quickly and I caught it?
Could be.
And that's why the elongated dots?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, because it's a night exposure, so it's going to be a longer aperture time for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might be tracking an object that made that shape just in its trajectory, or it could have been an elongated shape as well. It's hard to know, but fascinating pictures. And I would encourage you guys to check out the video version of this podcast episode on Spotify or YouTube or Rumble. All of those are possibilities. But yeah, I think that's fascinating, Bill. Yeah. Now, obviously, we've just scratched the surface here, so I'm happy to have you back if you want to come back and we can continue our discussion.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Can you please take a minute to let people know how to stay in touch with you, where to find your book, and any other information you'd like to leave them with?
Okay, I can be contacted at an email, bask404@gmail.com. That is BASK404@gmail.com. And the book is either Libby at any library in the country, a matter of fact, anywhere in the free world, Apple Books, Amazon ebook and print, and Barnes and Noble ebook and print. Any major platform if you requested. The books are not stocked by these places. It's POD, print on demand.
Okay.
So if you go on the site and request it or walk in, they will order it for you.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful, Bill. It's just been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And once again, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing your experiences. And I hope you will come back.
I will come back, and I want everybody to know your portal is great. Your viewers are great. They're friendly. And Discord is, I've never been on it, but I'm part of it. To me, it's confusing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
I'm still looking for the on off button on my cell phone. So,
Well, I just really appreciate you, Bill, and thank you so much for coming on. And we'll definitely get you back here, and we'll dive a little deeper into the experiences.
okay. Thank you, Brent.
All right.
You have a good day.
You're welcome, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us today. So hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thank you again so much for all your love and support. And remember, if you want to follow the Paranormal Portal, probably the easiest way is to head over to paranormalportal.net. And that's the homepage for the Paranormal Portal. And you'll find links to all of our different social media and sites and information about the shows, including our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/paranormalportal. Or just look for Paranormal Portal on Google or whatever search engine, and you'll find links to our social media such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So we're kind of all over the place, and we're spreading as well as we can. But anyway, thank you so much for the love and support. Y'all take care, and remember, we love y'all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Until next time.